Development Council, to mention just a few. The institution was formed in 1999 and after the merger of the South African Library, founded in 1818 in Cape Town, and the State Library, founded in 1887 in Pretoria. Now, to tell us more about his journey, we are joined by John Tsebe himself. John, good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Sam, and morning to the viewers and the listeners, and I greet everybody and compliments of 2014.
Same to you, and I hope it's going to be a great year.
20th year of celebrating our democracy, 2 decades of freedom.
Take us back to how, just, enlighten some of us that don't know a little bit about your history. How did you end up heading up the National Library of South Africa?
I ended up being appointed as the National Librarian of South Africa. I was the second National Librarian. My predecessor, the first National Librarian, was Professor Peter Law, who retired in 2003 towards the end, and I was appointed in March 2004. But before that, I came in because in terms of my experiences, I worked at the University of the North as the head of the University Library. And in the University Libraries, when you teach, you occupy a position of professor. So I also taught at the university with my mentor, Professor Seth Manaka.
Reflect for me. How has the National Library grown over the years? And in terms of not only capacity, but if you look at the kind of information that's kept and stored there.
The National Library has grown first. It's a legislative structure. It has been assented to by the late President Mandela into the National Library of South Africa from 2 structures, South African Library in Cape Town and the State Library in Pretoria. Now from 1999 is the National Library of South Africa. 1 national library, 2 sites. And we are not the only country, there are several other countries where they have got 2 sites of a national library.
But looking back at that process of merging the 2, I mean, that's probably easier said than done.
No, it's not easy. Merger is definitely not easy. I was just privileged because I was from the University of the North, where there were measures of higher education institutions. And in terms of the Higher Education Act in the transformation of higher education, I also play quite a significant role practically in the measure of institution. It can be a painful exercise for staff. So when I arrived, I found that Dr. Law, my predecessor, had started very good work. So I picked up the baton where he left it and started the merger. I must indicate that in the merger, human beings and human lives are affected.
Always. And
you have to take care of their psychological health. So what I did, I managed to raise funds from the Department of Arts and Culture and had a very intensive diversity and change management workshop to sort of revive the spirit and the humanistic approach to management.
Now that you're retiring very quickly, what are your hopes for the National Library of South Africa?
I think I have got very positive hopes. I think after my 10 years in the institution, and the institution is privileged that 2014, as I said, is the year of consolidating our successes of the past and moving forward into the future. Fortunately, for the past 10 years, I have groomed and I have worked with and I have involved an intensive sustainable planning policy. For my colleagues, I've got an excellent executive team under the leadership of the Deputy National Librarian that in my absence, even when I'm away after they have appointed the new National Librarian, they will first identify our limitations. And of course, they know all our strengths and convert the limitations into challenges and make them even further strength. Because we are driven by a passion. And the passion that drives us is the strategic resource of information for sustainable development and human growth.
You are stepping down at the end of February. You're the CEO that will be taking over after you?
Yes, the board is busy finalizing the process of appointing the new CEO.
When will we know the new appointment?
I'm sure they will announce it in the media when it is done, like it was done with my appointment in March 2004.
Mr. John Tsebe, thank you very much for joining us here on Morning Live, and thank you very much for the years of dedication and passion you've shown for that position. And often, I know it's been a bit of a minefield over the last couple of years, and you've highlighted some of them. But we wish you loads of luck now that you step into retirement. I think one of the things I heard you say was that you're going to be documenting your successes, the story over the next couple of years.
The first one will be documenting a book in honor of my mentor, Professor Seth Manaka, who's the first South African black librarian in the country.
So we're going to leave it there, but thank you very much for joining us. That's John Tsebe, who is bowing out as the serving Chief Executive Officer of the National Library of South Africa. Of course, we now continue with our Cape Town guests, and it's one of those really interesting